school work, and that kind of stuff. And then my dad said to me, "You should bring the violin." I was like, "No, I don't want to do that. I'm very I didn't take my violin in the car, and then we went. And then after that, I told me that I needed lessons and a little bit better. But pretty much would always ask me first about my studies because I did high school, but I did with academic English, and which was in a very prestigious school. And pretty much really like the schools with the number one thing you should do, and often would say when you talk about chanting, is do at least one round in Osaka, and just focus everything focus on school, because school is very important. And then after you finish school, you can focus on the spiritual life. And so I did that, and then my dad was like, "Oh, why is she smiling here?" And I was like, "Oh, great, then you can play like kirtan, evening kirtan." Radha Gopinath were wearing this green and gold dresses, and I was singing, and I was playing violin, but I didn't have a microphone, because for some reason the audition only had 2 microphones back then. And so it was a little bit hard to hear the violin, because everyone was so excited when Guru was singing, everyone was dancing and screaming, and it's very nice. And I just thought it was, I think Guru was just like there, like this distance, and I was just leaning forward to hear my violin, and he just gave this very kind of approving smile. It's like one of the most beautiful smiles, but it's very heartfelt smile. And then after he left, that was the last time I saw him. A few days ago when I was in Bangladesh, the deities were wearing the same outfit, and my friends Soravi and Surya, they were singing Brahma's melody, but they didn't know that those were the outfits, and everything. And it was just all a coincidence, like so much like Brahma's themed things were happening in one evening. I felt so much that it just felt like Brahma was watching over me, I just hope that, yeah, I just hope that I can always be sheltered like that, and continue serving. I'm so happy that you guys are here, and it's just one more thing besides me. Gita about in the Ocean University about association. The process of Krishna consciousness is perfect for but added meditation. Just follow the process with all your sincerity. Offer this life to Krishna and try to serve him to the best of your ability. Try to develop your love for him, and the rest will automatically happen.
radaya, Krishna prestaya, bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vasatyadi Shatarine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vasatyadi Shatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Rama, Rama, Rama,
Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadesha Dharine Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Bhakti Swami Maharaj and His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. So I was so much confused. Who is really my Guru? To my mind always I worshipping two Guru. And after I feel I take initiation to Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. But my Guru Maharaj, I am so much afraid to meet my Guru Maharaj close, so I am afraid. But His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj, many times we together playing mridanga in many program and like a festival, Guru Purnima festival time. Maximum time I play mridanga with Maharaj. And his room also have some kirtan every day. In festival time also I'll take participate and play mridanga. So I so much love to our Maharaj. So today Vyasa Puja Mahotsav. So I pray to my Shiksha Guru, please bless me. So I continue serve to Guru Gauranga and all the Vaishnavas. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Teacher Swami was my parents' Guru Maharaj. My parents were close servants of His Holiness Bhakti Swami, so he was to me was also my Guru Maharaj. And whenever he was in Amsterdam or Rotterdam or even like do programs at our house, but he was in Rajneesh, he would always stop by and either take lunch, dinner, or sleep over. So I'm so fortunate and I'm so grateful that Guru Maharaj let me serve him in my limited capacity, because I was still very young, so I could not develop a close relationship with Guru Maharaj as much as my parents and my sister did. But I'm very, very grateful that he showered me with so much mercy, and I just wish I can take forever in his shelter. And it's I've been reading The Ocean of Mercy the past 2 days. Finished it tonight, this night at 2 a.m. and I just couldn't sleep. I just had to finish it. It's just so beautiful. If anyone ever has the time, please do read Ocean of Mercy. Guru Maharaj was such a dear servant to Srila Prabhupada. Like, well, he only joined ISKCON 1 year before Prabhupada's disappearance, and in that time he got first and second initiated at once, and then 3 months later he got sannyas. He's such a special soul. And one time, Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj was reading the Bengali translation of Chaitanya Charitamrita or Srimad Bhagavatam, either one, and they were just talking, and Guru Maharaj was thinking about this picture of Vishnu, with 4 arms in everyone's soul, the famous picture in Srimad Bhagavatam, and he asked Srila Prabhupada, is it true that Krishna with 4 arms resides in everyone's heart? And with a big smile, Prabhupada said, yes, but in your heart he resides with 2 arms. So he's such a special soul, and yeah, I don't know enough words with how grateful and I am and how much mercy he has showered us. Hare Krishna. Anyone want to say or add anything?
Please can say someone.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, today I was, I like Brinda, both me and Nimai's parents, they were initiated by Bhakti Maharaj, and we both, since very small, actually Maharaj named Nimai, Nimai Chandra, he gave him his name, and since I was 5 also, I knew Maharaj from a very young age. And I always remember the date, September 17th is his birthday, and it's also the day where Prabhupada, in 1965, I believe, that's when he set off, or did he arrive in America at this date, or he arrived in America at this date, yeah. And so, always Maharaj's Vyasa Puja was always, he wanted that to be celebrated more than his Vyasa Puja, which was very incredible, because he was just so absorbed in glorifying Prabhupada that Prabhupada Prabhupada was and is everything, and that even on his own Vyasa Puja it wasn't about his Vyasa Puja actually, he made it a festival called Srila Prabhupada Memorial Day, and everyone was asked to glorify Prabhupada on this day more than him. And only in the last few years I heard that his disciples were really asking, we want to also glorify you, Guru Maharaj, and it's your birthday and you mean so much for us. And so then he gave in that the next day they would celebrate his Vyasa Puja. And I was thinking how special Bhakti Maharaj was, that when he came to Krishna consciousness, he joined, like Brenda said, it was just 1 year, or I think 9 months he was before Srila Prabhupada left, and he got initiated, first and second initiation at the same time, and then within 3 months later he got sannyas. And so before he was taking sannyas, many of Prabhupada's older disciples, they were saying to Prabhupada, are you sure you want to give him sannyas? He's just joined, he's very new, and what happens if he falls down? And Prabhupada looked at them and he said, if he falls down, he would only fall down to the mode of goodness. And that was the level of Bhakti Maharaj's purity, and also his example. Even Prabhupada recognized him so much immediately that he pulled him into his intimate circle of those who were serving him. And so he was very, very, very dear and very close to Srila Prabhupada. And you can see so much throughout his whole life. He really served Srila Prabhupada, keeping him always at the center, reminding us that Srila Prabhupada is the preeminent founder Acharya of ISKCON. He's the eternal Shiksha Guru for each one of us, Srila Prabhupada. And I was this morning just thinking how I mean, there's so many things to say about Bhakti-yoga Maharaj, but I think the one thing which really stands out for me most is his encouragement and his care, and him being so personal always. I remember the last time I saw him was in 2018. Both Sacinandana Maharaj and myself, we were flying to. Well, we actually saw him in two situations. One was he invited Sacinandana Maharaj to come to Orlando, where he has a farm project, and so Sacinandana Maharaj agreed to come, and because we were going to Alachua, so it's not far from where Bhakti-yoga Maharaj has a farm project there, and but before that, when we were going for we were flying from New York. No, we flew to New York from Germany, and we were going through immigration, and then Sacinandana Maharaj goes through immigration, and then I went through, and then from the corner of my eye, I just see a devotee just pop up, and just he tells me in the queue, he's like, Hare Krishna, and I look and I said, and I recognized who that person was. It was Bhakti-yoga Maharaj's servant. His name is Damodar Prasad at that time. And I was like, I know him, he's the servant of Bhakti-yoga Maharaj. But anyways, I went through immigration, and then I met Sacinandana Maharaj, and I said, I just met Bhakti-yoga Maharaj's servant. But at that time we were flying to another place, so we had to catch our connecting flight. So we just went straight to our gate. And then we were waiting there, and then all of a sudden Damodar Prasad again comes, and I said to Sacinandana Maharaj, this is Damodar Prasad, he's Bhakti-yoga Maharaj's servant. And then he's like, oh, Sacinandana Maharaj is like, oh really? And then Damodar Prasad just says, Bhakti-yoga Maharaj is actually here in the airport. And immediately Sacinandana Maharaj just got up and he just ran, and he just left everything, all his bags and everything, and I was sitting there. And then our flight was boarding, and I was like, where is Sacinandana Maharaj? We have to go for the next flight. And then luckily I heard Damodar Prasad say he's at C71. I still remember, yeah, C71. And New York is a huge airport, it's massive. So I wouldn't have known where he was, because I didn't know where Bhakti-yoga Maharaj was flying. So, but luckily I heard that part, and then so I just went with all our hand luggage, and I went running to C71, and then I saw both of them together, and they were just like they were like hugging each other for such a long time, and really appreciating just seeing each other. And Sacinandana Maharaj was, I can't believe I'm seeing you here, because they hadn't seen each other for a long time also. And Bhakti-yoga Maharaj was like incredibly, I mean, those who know Bhakti-yoga Maharaj, he was always incredibly dressed. Every time he had this beautiful white coat, very aristocratic, very regal, he looked like a effulgent personality. And they were just saying, oh, we can't wait to have some time together in Orlando, and there's a famous picture of them two holding hands at the airport, and so we took that there, and then Bhakti-yoga Maharaj is like, he asks us, do you have enough prasadam with you to go on your journey? And both Sacinandana Maharaj and myself looked at each other, and we were just like, oh, this is just so sweet of Maharaj, he's just so considerate and so caring, and he gave us, he said, we have samosas, please take them, and we took them, and then we just felt so inspired after that with just seeing Maharaj. And then in Orlando we met him again, and he sent his own personal car to come collect Sacinandana Maharaj, and he came himself to the entrance and personally received Maharaj. But there's just so many examples of how Bhakti-yoga Maharaj is just so personal and so natural also at the same time. And I think for a devotee, both being very highly advanced in Krishna consciousness, of course, is the main quality, but at the same time to have this naturalness where they treat you as a person, as a soul, and no matter who you are, where you're from, that's still that same. Seeing everyone as a Vaishnava is someone that I always saw Bhakti Charma, just seeing everyone as a Vaishnava and treating them like that, encouraging them like that, and so yeah, I think those who know him, I know he's really a shining example, a very rare person, and I still feel he's such a big loss, because we need such personalities here with us in teaching us and guiding us. But anyways, there's so much to say about Maharaj, but maybe there are some others who would like to speak, but I just wanted to he was very, very, very special, and if you haven't heard of him or heard from him, please do check out his book which he wrote, and his classes, and his singing also is very, very unique, very sweet, very melodious, very, very special also. So Jai Bhakti Chara Maharaj ki Jai.
I don't know so much what to say because I didn't have so much personal association, but whatever I saw from him from a young age, he appeared very personal. He was one of the sannyasis who I noticed would acknowledge everyone in the crowd, and he would greet everyone even though they were at the back of the front crowd who was around him. And I can just vouch for that, like how personal he was from what I saw. Personally, he was always, like, even before we were born, he was blessing us through my parents. Throughout, I definitely felt his care, and he was always asking my parents how we are doing, how are the kids, and growing up in Krishna consciousness. I remember an instance when, like, it didn't include me, but I saw from a few other children at the manor that it happened to be somebody's birthday, and he was asking whether there's a birthday cake made for them, and I think, I don't know, somehow they got a cake, they blew the candles for the cake, and then I think he asked if he could go, like, get that boy whose birthday it was and gather a few friends, and they went to a local supermarket with all the kids in the car. And actually, I think my dad was driving the car there. He was quite surprised, what's Maharaj gonna do in a supermarket. And he literally just went there. He told the kids, you can buy whatever you want. And obviously the kids just took advantage, and they got everything, all the toys they wanted. And then my dad explained to me afterwards that when Maharaj came to the till, he himself took out his card, and he paid for all the toys for the kids. And and even on another occasion, I think Maharaj happened to find out that it was somebody's son's birthday, one of his disciples' birthday, and he asked if there's any cake, if there's any some gift or something, and no one had brought anything. So Maharaj was wearing this gold watch, and he took it off and he said, give it to the son as a gift. So from what I've heard, the Vani which we listen to, the memories, the instructions, it seems like this was such a such an exalted soul who walked amongst us, and the level of perfection with which he did all of, as in there are so many outstanding achievements in his life throughout the years. You know, translating Prabhupada's books into Bengali, making a Prabhupada TV serial, which took a lot of effort, and just maintaining and leading the movement through very difficult times in history, and even later taking more and more responsibility. So I personally am ever grateful, and everything is really his mercy for me, because it appears like a constant throughout my life, and even now I'm feeling ever more grateful to him. So and also it's quite interesting how his Vyasa Puja happens to fall on the same day as Prabhupada's arrival into the USA. And as Gokrishna was saying, he was a Prabhupada man completely through and through. So all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Bhakti-joga Maharaj.
Prabhupada ki someone can speak, someone to Maharaj. Okay.
So since Guru Maharaj passing, I think all of us have been grieving a lot. And for me, it was, how do I deal with this grief? You know, Guru Maharaj, like Nima said, Guru Maharaj has always been a constant in life. So what do you do now? And yesterday I read this in the Ocean of Mercy. For some context, so Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, they were alone together, and I'll just read now. Prabhupada, the process of Krishna consciousness is perfect, Prabhupada added affectionately. Just follow this process with all sincerity. Offer this life to Krishna and try to serve him to the best of your ability. Try to develop love for him, and the rest will automatically happen. Then he said something that sounded to me like an ultimate secret of spiritual success. Maya is extremely strong because it is Krishna's potency. Devihi yesha gunamayi mama maya dhrityaya. It is impossible to overcome. But if you remain in the association of devotees, then Maya will not be able to touch you, because Maya is Krishna's external potency, whereas the association of the devotees is Krishna's internal potency. Therefore, always remain in the association of devotees and never ever go away from that shelter. One concern crept into my mind. Srila Prabhupada, I asked, if I am alone on an island, then what will happen to me? Just remember the instructions of the devotees, he said. That is also association. My heart was overflowing with joy. I offered Prabhupada my obeisances silently, requesting, please bless me, Srila Prabhupada, that I never go away from the shelter of your lotus feet. Jai Bhakti-joga Swami Maharaj ki Jai. So I think the thing that we can do only now is through his Vani and listen to his advice, to his instructions, read his books and listen to his lectures and kirtans, and in that way he always stays with us. And I think it's so beautiful how at the end he silently requests Prabhupada to bless him and always say in his lotus feet. And you know, this prayer, this comes back very often in the Ocean of Mercy when Guru Maharaj took first initiation during the fire, during the yajna. He was thinking how grateful he was, like how much mercy he got, because he got first and second initiation at the same time. That was not very common in that time, and he prayed to Krishna that everything in this world it has an end to it, except the soul. So therefore, I offer myself to you. After the yajna, you usually go to people, and people will give you money, and that's the guru dakshina. That's the gift you give, a monetary gift you give to the guru. But Bhakti-Chara Swami, he was not able to receive the money because he was doing straight service, devotional service, other services to Prabhupada. So when everyone gave their gift to Prabhupada, their Guru Dakshina, Guru Maharaj was the last one, and with a lot of remorse in his heart, he said to Srila Prabhupada, "You gave me Diksha, but I didn't give you Guru Dakshina." And then Prabhupada said, "You offered yourself, that's all I ever wanted." And I think that's, Prabhupada knew what Guru Maharaj was thinking, and he was so sincere and so submissive. Sacinandana Swami was talking yesterday about what is the qualities of a sincere devotee, like steady devotional service, being submissive and inquisitive. And when the senior devotees, they were expressing their concerns, because with Bhakti-Chara Swami was getting fast sannyasa, I was thinking, I understand that their concerns. It's been only been 6 months or something since he has joined the movement, but he does show all the qualities of a sincere devotee. It's such a big loss. He did so much for the world. It's so beautiful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Swami Maharaj Yasuda ki Jai. Prabhupada ki Jai. So I offer to one bhajan to our beloved Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti-Yoga Thakur. Jotted this bhajan. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur Gayara Sadhara Kedasya Kuruna. Can take your phone, can find it, this bhajan. This is wonderful bhajan. This is a Vaishnava Vandana. So we pray for great Vaishnava, His Holiness Bhakti-Chara Swami Maharaj. There is wonderful meanings. You can read the meanings, but I only sing the bhajan.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunnavadi Paschatade Satarine Namayo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhusale श्रीमते भक्ति चारु स्वामिनी नामिने। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर, हे दासे करुणा करी। हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर, हे दासे करुणा करी। ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर, हे दासे करुणा करी। ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर, हे दासे करुणा करी। ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर, हे दासे करुणा करी। ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर, हे दासे दिया पद छाया सधो हे आमाय, दिया पद छाया दिया पद छाया सधो हे आमाय, दिया पद छाया चरण धरे हमें तुम्हारा ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर, हे दासे करुणा करी। बेगदमे छय दश सधि छय गुण देह दासे, छय बेगदमे छय दश सधि छय गुण देह छय सत्संग देह हे अमरे বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর একাকী আমার নাহি পাইব হরি নাম সংকীর্তনে একাকী আমার নাহি পাইব তুমি কৃপা করি সদা বিন্দু দিয়া তুমি কৃপা করি সদা বিন্দু দিয়া কৃপা করি সদা বিন্দু বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর হে দাসে করুণা করি ওহে বৈষ্ণব কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো তোমার শক্তি আছে কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো তোমার আমি তো কাঙাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর আমি তো কাঙাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো আমি তো কাঙাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো পাছে ধাই তব পাছে পাছে আমি তো কাঙাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ধাই তব পাছে পাছে ধাই নিতাই তব পাছে পাছে ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর এ দাসে করুণ করি ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দিয়া পদ ছায়া সধ হে আমায় দিয়া পদ দিয়া পদ ছায়া সধ হে আমায় দিয়া পদ ছায়া তোমার চরণ ধরি তোমার চরণ ধরি আর দিয়া পদ ছায়া সদা হে আমার তোমার চরণ ধরি জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ প্রভুপাদ শিল প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ প্রভুপাদ নিতাই গৌরা হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল নিতাই গৌরা হরি বল নিতাই গৌরা হরি বল নিতাই গৌরা হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল নিতাই গৌরা হরি বল নিতাই গৌরা হরি বল श्रील वैष्णव ठाकुर के श्रील प्रभुपाद के निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे On melody, Bhakti-yoga Guru Maharaj, he very much liked this melody. So can sing with us together, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare Hare. Everyone please. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Bol Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Louder please. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Please, all together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna. We can maybe sing. Yeah, we sung this before, but Hare Krishna. I'm almost ready. I'm just. Maybe we can just open the windows just for 1 minute. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna. I welcome all of you for this session on our continuing series. We have on the art of real transformation, of permanent transformation. We have been so far done a few amazing exploration of this subject, and today we will go to one very important transformation, the transformation of karma into prema. I want to see before I start, is this all right with the light here or better without the light? It's okay. Krishna. One other thing before I start. Today our Vrinda Anuradha has informed us today is the Vyasa Puja day of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. I remember Bhakti Charu Maharaj very affectionately because he was one of the devotees in Krishna consciousness who was really a very close friend of mine. He had come in contact with Krishna consciousness in a very particular way. He had gone to study physics in Hamburg, Germany, where he met his old friend Sarvabhauma, Sarvabhavana Prabhu, who informed him about Krishna consciousness. So when Bhakti Charu Maharaj returned to India, he brought with him a copy of the Nectar of Devotion. And he read this Nectar of Devotion in a few days, and at the end he had a dream where Srila Prabhupada appeared to him sitting on a Vyasasana, and he surrendered his life in the dream to Srila Prabhupada. But then, where was Srila Prabhupada? Bhakti Charu Maharaj was at that time, he had returned from Germany to Calcutta, and he had heard that Srila Prabhupada had started an international project called the Mayapur, Sridham Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir. And he was so determined he left that same day. He didn't know if Srila Prabhupada was at that time on the project, but he nevertheless he left, and he told me he went right to the banks of Mother Ganga. He asked a barber to come and shave him up. He took all his old hair with his shirt and his pants, and he made a bundle and threw it in the Ganga, signifying that he would give up his old identification as the son of a film producer, and he would surrender his life to Prabhupada. So he went to the Mayapur Chandradaya Mandir, which was just next to the place where he did this shaving, and he became a simple devotee. He carried big sand sacks like this to build the Mayapur temple, and half a year later met Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada decided to give him first and second initiation immediately, and only half a year later he initiated him in the sacred order of sannyas. Now his older sannyasi disciples protested, he's just a new man. What if he falls? Prabhupada says, when he falls to the mode of goodness. When you fall to the mode of tamagun. So he indicated that Maharaj had in previous lifetimes, Bhakti Charu Maharaj had in previous lifetimes already reached a very high level. So today is his auspicious appearance day, and I think if you want more information, also if you want to read his very wonderful autobiography, it's called The Ocean or An Ocean of Mercy. The Ocean of Mercy. You can contact this nice disciple of his, our Vrinda Anuradha, and she will give you links so that you can see his beautiful lectures, and he has a nicely maintained website which his disciples maintain. And he's no longer with us in his physical presence, and on this day, therefore, some of us are very sad. What can be said? He was a real saint, a gem, a unique personality in our movement, one of the treasures of Srila Prabhupada. Good. So we will now move on to our present seminar. Yes, again I have to request you to please close the window for a short time. We will open it soon again. We have neighbors who don't always chant along because they're busy with other things. Yeah, the best places are still here. Please join me. Namo. We can't hear you. Please join. Namo Vishnu Padaya. Namaste Hare Krishna. Yes. Can I request, please, that we open the windows again? It may be a little cold for you who sit directly at the windows, but please practice the austerity for the benefit of all. We can just briefly just open it really wide, and then we will have, because we are so long. No,
we are from the seaside.
We are from the seaside. No problem. No problem. Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All of us, please. Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I would like to welcome all of you for this session of the art of real transformation. I would like to give a summary of the last class which we had heard. There we were informed that the repeated instructions of the sadhus are able to transform the vision, the Darshan, the Weltsicht, how you would say in philosophical German language. It changes. It is said, I'm trying to find for you this amazing verse, but I can remember it, I think I have it by memory, just like cold goes away when you go to the sacred fire. In the same way, dullness in the mind goes away when you visit sadhus. And just like warmth increases when you come close to the sacred fire, in the same way your spiritual enlightenment increases when you come close to the sadhus. Therefore, Krishna says, an intelligent person should reject all bad association and instead take up the association of saintly devotees, whose words cut off the excessive attachment of one's mind. So as I'm talking, I'm aware that I won't be able to satisfy my youngest listener. He has to be satisfied by his mother. So maybe you go and with him and have or her and have a creative entertainment program. Thank you very much. We all are attached. The sannyasi is attached to his nice dhoti. The grihastha may be attached to various items in his whole household. We all are attached to eating foodstuffs. We are attached to what we know. We are attached. And these attachments can create a bondage to the material world. But if you take the same attachment that binds you to the material world, if you take the same attachment and bring it to the devotees, you are freed. I would like to say here something at the beginning of my course that I think most of us need to think a little bit more deeper. When we talk about transformation, this was an example of attachment which is transformed, we have a different concept than what you have heard most of the time. Most of the time in Krishna consciousness, we learn or hear about leaving something behind, controlling our mind, control your senses, don't do it. We hear about transcending things and so on. But transformation is about something else than ignoring what is there. In transformation, you take one thing and turn it into another. In transformation, for instance, of a material substance like water, you take the water and you want to now get something new. You don't throw the water away. No, you take the same water, you put it on a flame, and then by the power of the flame, it turns into vapor. So I will now address the thing which devotees don't like to talk about, because it's something everyone has, but everyone likes to ignore it. I will talk about lust. Lust, when you deal with it in one way, you try to ignore that it is there. You try to repress and suppress it. What happens? It comes back with redoubled strength. It's almost like you take like a crazy brother which you don't want the public to see. So you put him in the cellar and you lock the cellar door, and he goes the crazy brother, and you hope that the lock will hold. But after some time, the crazy brother breaks the door and comes up the cellar steps and boom, goes into the living room and shouts, "Why did you do this to me?" And there he is. And you just have invited your best friend, and you wanted to make a good relationship with him, or you wanted to make a business contract, and here he is again, the crazy little brother whom you have locked away. This is what happens in many spiritual movements. No? You ignore, you suppress, and so on. This is not what we are discussing here. I don't know if you have all already woken up. This is a revolutionary concept which is found in our scriptures, but it is often, you take the lust, and you do something with it, and it turns into something else. And in that way, you are free from the problem. Let us look at the Sanskrit word for lust. It is, do you know? Kama, with a long A. Yeah? It is derived from the verbal root kam, the kam dhatu. You know, all the words in Sanskrit have roots from which they grow. Kama grows from kam. Let us, what do you think is the opposite of lust? I would say prema, or love of Godhead. It is derived from the verbal root pri, the pri dhatu. Now, the kam dhatu and the pri dhatu, that means the origin of lust and the origin of the word love, both have the same meaning, that is priti vansha, meaning desiring enjoyment or pleasure. In kama, material lust, you enjoy, you want enjoyment or pleasure. That's your object for yourself. In prema, or spiritual love, you still desire enjoyment or pleasure, but because it has been treated or transformed, now you want the enjoyment and pleasure of Krishna. You know everything. Krishna is always a good answer. It's generally correct, by the way. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes this in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 465. He says, Atmendriya priti vancha tare bali kama Krishnendriya priti cha tare prema nama. If one desires pleasure for his own senses, that is kama, or lust. And the desire to please the senses of Krishna is prema, yes. So desire, my dear devotees, or the quality of desiring is always there, either in the impure state where it gives you trouble, or in the pure state where it gives you a connection with Krishna. When I was in Vrindavan a little while, maybe 10 years ago, I gave a lecture. Do we have the microphone, the wireless microphone? And I wanted to describe this powerful concept of taking the same thing and transforming it. And I gave a traditional example of the letter. You know, letter? How do we say letter in this language? No. Letter. Letter, yeah. Listo. Yes, sounds correct, yes. Listio, yes. The English word is letter. So, when you stand in the middle of a ladder, this is a ladder, and I'm standing in the middle. It goes down and it goes up. If I look down and I climb down, that is called karma. If, however, I'm standing on the ladder and I'm looking up to Krishna, I go up. Can you follow? I make it more clear. Sudevi, you look at me with a question mark. I'm in the middle of the ladder. There are now two ways. Listen, or like in London English, listen up. There are two ways for me to go now. Up or down. It's the same ladder. When I look down, oh, what's down there? What's down there? Then I go down into karma. If, however, I change my vision and I look up to Krishna, the same process of desiring or the same ladder brings me upwards. Could you understand? Sudevi? Yes. Yorun, you could understand? What does this mean when you feel lusty, Yorun? What can you do to transform? You look up. If you want to transform it, if you look down, yes, you. But we are not interested in the suffering. So you look when you feel overwhelmed by this quality of desiring. I look. Oh, what would be good for Krishna? I bring Krishna into my mind, and as a result, I will experience a very subtle transformation in my heart, which all of a sudden makes me feel, yeah, Krishna, eternality. It's not in my interest to go down and to bring another person down. Do you understand? This is a very important secret. It is expressed, the secret, in a book called Padyavali by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami says, if you want to, some people want to reduce the material desires which overwhelm the heart by putting on saffron. Other people want to overcome lust by sense control, including eating foodstuffs in the mode of goodness. No? Some of you may feel, oh, I would like to eat something tamasic. But no, then you say, no, let me control myself. I don't want to become overwhelmed by these material desires. Some people want to overcome material desires by living alone in solitude. Others want to overcome their material desires by becoming absorbed in powerful explanations of the scriptures. Others observe the vow of silence. Still others go on pilgrimage to all the holy places. Still, they will not be successful in reducing the material desires overwhelming the heart. You see, many spiritual traditions, many spiritual people, many good devotees have tried so hard to fight against material desires because they know from past experience that the taste is in the beginning very, very interesting and passionate, but then it turns always sour and always distressful. No, they know this, and therefore they say, okay, let me become a brahmachari, dress in saffron. Let me not eat so much. I will never eat again such and such preparation. Let me go alone. I can't be in the temple with so many Matajis or so many Prabhus. It's not from, I always feel the same images come back. Or they study the scriptures, the powerful explanations. To escape lust, they may observe a vow of silence and never talk again. Or they go to pilgrimage to all holy places, but alas, the crazy brother comes out of the cellar. There it is again. Irrational, demanding attention, destroying everything. No? The verse continues, but when one begins to worship the lotus feet of Govinda Dev, who enjoys with the gopas and gopis on the broad, immaculate banks of the Yamuna, lusty desires are completely rooted out. Maybe not in the beginning. Maybe you have to climb a few more steps, but eventually, if you focus your eyes here to Govinda Dev, then, my dear devotees, you will eventually become free from these deep-rooted material desires. Shri Govinda Deva ki jai. There's a very famous verse by Rupa Goswami which says the same. By the way, Rupa Goswami had an interesting experience. He one day went into the temple of Govinda Dev, and he was seeing there was one person standing alone before the deities. He was totally shaved. He had no seeker. and he had the Urdhva Pundra, means 3 lines over the forehead. He was a Mayavadi. Ooh. And he was singing songs to Govinda Dev. And Govinda, the deity, Rupa Goswami could see, was leaning forward and enjoying the poetry of the songs very much. Later that day, Rupa Goswami said, Govinda, that was a Mayavadi. He doesn't believe in you, but still you were appreciating his poetry. Do you know what these people say? You have no real form? I don't care, said Govinda. I sometimes like good poesy. And you don't make nice poems for me and sing them to me. So if you don't want me to hear from a Mayavadi, then you write poetry. So this was the reason why Rupa Goswami wrote his very poetical work Padyavali. Padyavali. And there he wrote, Smeram Bangitaya Parichatam Sachi Vishtirna Drishtim Vangsinastararaki Shalayamujva Lam Chandra Kena. Not so nicely sung. Govindakyam Haritanum Itakeshi Tirtopakante Ma Prakshishtastavayadi. I don't have the right. Smeram Vangitaya Parichatam Sachi Vishtirna Drishtim Vangsinastarara Kishalamujalam Chandakena Govinda Kyam Hari Tanumita Keshi Tirtopakante Ma Prekshistastava Yadisake Bandhu Sange Striranga. It says, my dear friend. Rupa Goswami talks very confidentially. My dear friend, if you are indeed attached to your worldly friends, do not look at the smiling face of Lord Govinda as he stands on the bank of the Yamuna at Keshigat. He casts sidelong glances. He places his flute to his lips, which seem like newly blossomed twigs. His transcendent body bends in 3 places and he appears very bright in the moonlight. What is said here is that in the name of saying it's dangerous to look at Govinda, you may lose your material desires. The meaning is actually it's very dangerous to have material desires and not transform them. It's very dangerous to not wander on the banks of the Yamuna. If you don't wander to Vrindavan, you will wander to birth and death in this world. So in this way, Rupa Goswami wrote nice poem, and Govinda heard it and said, "Acha, acha, acha." He liked very much. No? So yes, my dear devotees, we all know what is material desires. We know how strong material desires are. They can overwhelm the heart. The yogi, in order to not be overcome by material desires, closes all the doors of the senses. He closes his eyes, doesn't see anything. He closes his ear, he doesn't want to hear material sound. He closes his mouth. But at times, lust comes like a storm that blows that throws open the doors of the senses and enters the heart and blows out the candle flame of transcendental knowledge. Have we not all experienced this? You are in one, everything is very peaceful, and all of a sudden, bang, there it is, a brand new TV. I wish to give innocent examples. And you want, or why TV, the shapely form, wow, of a Samsung telephone, which can fold flat, Z2, no, Z4, and boom, it overwhelms you. I must have this foldable Samsung distraction machine, and so on. It throws open all your resistance. My dear devotees, I'm giving innocent examples to not make you blush. Translate it into what disturbs you, and you know what I'm talking about. So, in this way, Prabhupada says, due to our lust, we want many things for our sense gratification, but the same lust can be transformed in a purified way so that we want everything for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When you are overwhelmed with these desires, don't stop desiring. This is the mistake the yogis do. They sit down and close all the doors of their senses. No, my dear devotees, transform. Engage your senses in Krishna's service. In the Grihastha ashram, when you all of a sudden feel overwhelmed with these desires, then you should plan with your partner something nice to do for Krishna. You should engage in devotional service for Krishna together, and you will see how the strong fever comes down. Prabhupada spoke about this transformation in this word. Can I read this to you? Yes. Good, I will do it. By Krishna consciousness, everything will be transformed into spiritual. Just like the iron rod. We have an iron rod. Here is a metal rod. Just like the iron rod. If you put it in the fire, it will get warmer, and then it will get red hot. Then it is no longer fire. Then it is no longer iron, it is fire. Similarly, if we constantly engage all our energy in Krishna consciousness, then even though we have increased the temperature, that will be transformed into 107 degrees of spiritual life. Yes, that's the secret of this Krishna consciousness movement. You engaged your senses for Krishna. There was once a thief. He was a professional thief. He went with a group of well, I will tell another modern story. He lived in Berlin. He was a punk. Do you know what is a punk? Punk rocker? In Slovenia we have experienced. But he was the real thing. He was dressed in black leather, and he liked rats. I remember there was a lecturer. There was a lecture, and I was sitting at the back of the lecture. All the people looked in front, just like you look now towards me. There was a lecturer in this program, and I was sitting in the back where this picture of the 10 avatars is. You see there, and I was translating. The guests had ear plugs in their ears, and we had a running translation. So just before me was this punk. He was having good hair, good amount of hair, and he was just lying down because maybe he was exhausted from so on. And as he was lying down, 2 rats just came out of his dress, and they were not beautiful rats. If there are beautiful rats, they were ugly kennel rats, you know, the one who eat little children and so on. They were really ugly rats. So he lived with them. He had them under his dress, you know. He was always with them. Best friends don't part ways so easily, you know. So as I was translating, all of a sudden these 2 rats came out of his shirt, and I went like, whoa. I have seen many things. I have seen lions. I have seen wild elephants. I have seen small dragons even. But I have not seen rats coming out of the shirt of someone. I was less. And the lecturer, the Maharaji, who gave a wonderful lecture, said, "Hey, what happened to the translator?" And I said, "The translator is temporarily paralyzed." he was really an iron rod, this punk. Only half a year later, I went to Singhachalam on pilgrimage, and we had cows there, and I went to the cow barn, and I saw someone who was totally covered with cow stool, but he had very, very fine yellow hair. But his face was also, he had a certain taste, you know, covered. And I asked, Berlin? Punk rock? Lecture? And he said, "Yes, it's me. What do you want?" "To talk to you." "I have no time." He was tough. No? "I have to take care of Gomata." "Okay, yeah, do. See me at 8:30. So I visited him, and it was the same punk, and he told me his story. He had come in contact with Krishna consciousness, and he had been a very, very, very engaged sense gratifier. He had been very much involved with the alternative scene and very free ways of expressing material desires or sexual desires. But as he was, he didn't understand much of the lecture, only that he should start chanting. And he had seen us, and he said, "You all were full of light, and I was full of darkness. So I wanted to also get some light." So he was starting to chant, because he wanted to become like the devotees. And as he did this, he became free from this great problem of material desires, which had so much brought him. He comes from Australia. He had gone to Berlin. This was the high point in Europe of Sanskrification for young people, music and everything else which comes along with this modern music. And yes, his path started. I want to say, I want to ask you a question which we heard this morning. Who of you wants changes in their lives? Okay, that's most of you. Now I want to ask you a difficult question. Who of you wants to change? That's much less. We all want changes, but we don't want to change. That will not work. There are blocks for our change. One is to think change is not needed. The other is much more in Krishna consciousness there. Change happens automatically. But if you continue to do things that are opposite to what is best, how will change happen automatically? If you do not change habits, how will you be free? Another reason to not change is too much painful for me. And I want to address the last. Yes, when we think about giving up lusty activities, we become depressed. As long as we don't have something better. As long as we don't have any better engagement for our senses, we will remain attached to our old ways. Therefore, if you want changes in your life, you need to change some of your ways. If you keep on doing the same things and expect different results, there will be no change for you. In our scriptures, we are hearing so many wonderful things, how we should affect transformations in our heart. Maybe the most valuable recommendation is if you come into the association of devotees and learn to chant with them. If you let the sunshine of the holy name cultivate your heart, my dear devotees, your heart will first become different, and then something grows there. Maybe the most important reason why we do not change is the fear of the change. I want to end with a story from the Sufi tradition about fear of change, fear of transformation. Once there was a river. The river was flowing since time immemorial, and it had only one desire, to flow into the ocean. However, there was a huge desert in between. And whatever the river did to cross the desert, it simply sank into the hot sand and was absorbed by the hot sand. One day, so the river comes, then it goes down into the sand and sinks. So one day the wind came and said, my dear river, where do you want to go? I see you coming with great force and then stopping. The river explained, I want to go into the ocean. Oh, said the wind, I could bring you to the ocean. Yes, said the river. Yes, I can bring you to the river, but you have to stop being a river. What do you mean? Said the river. My secret, said the wind. The river said, Kuala Bono. No, I don't want to. Okay, said the river, you try on, I will come back after. No, okay, said the wind, try crossing the desert on your own. I will come back after 500 years and see if you are successful. So after 500 years, the wind came back and it looked at the river. The river looked so desperate. It looked so, how do you say, sad, because it had flown since 500 more years and had just been absorbed in the desert. It is just sucked up by the hot desert sun. The river said, I'm ready. What do I have to do? Yeah, I said that the river, you have to stop being a river. And you mean I will come to the ocean? Yes, you will again become a river. What do you mean? I show you, said the wind. And it went in the heart of the desert, where it was as hot as in the hell. And there it returned with a lot of strength. It had become a desert storm. It came to the river and it blew on the river. The river became a cloud in the sky. It evaporated from the earth, and the storm took it, brought it to some mountains at the end of the desert, and there the cloud rained down, became a river again, and flew into the ocean. My dear devotees, we are afraid of this process. But we will all have to give up being a river or being so-and-so, Mikhailovich, or Mr. Milosevic, Franco Trutman, or whatever. Where is our beloved father of the Yugoslavian nation? What was his name? Tito G. Where is he now? No more Tito G. But do you want Krishna to carry you, or do you want your karma to carry you? If you want Krishna to carry you back home, back to the ocean, then you should engage in his service with all your senses and slowly transform karma into prema. Karma means all material desires. This whole material world is based on karma. Did you know this? Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that this world is only a reflection of the eternal spiritual world. It is like a banyan tree who is reflected on a river or a lake and who has become topsy-turvy. The banyan tree, what was atop, is now on the bottom. So in the same way as a banyan tree gets reflected on a lake, the spiritual world is reflected on the lake of desire, of karma. And therefore, everything is topsy-turvy, or the different way around. You want to you don't want to give pleasure, you want to take pleasure. That's our existential condition. But if we can just engage our mind and our senses in Krishna's service, we will escape the reflection and go into the real banyan tree. What do I suggest to you, my dear devotees? Increase your service attitude. Be more in the fire of Krishna consciousness. And in order to increase your devotion, please also start to worship Krishna. You can worship him here in the temple by bringing gifts to the deities, or you can have a first-class picture of Krishna in your house and offer incense to him and flowers. And by this process you will turn karma into prema, and then you will have arrived at the perfect place from where you never wish to return. So this is my lecture for today. I hope there was something in for you, and I want to end a little earlier because I felt I was lecturing so long the other days. Let me see if you have any questions regarding this, and maybe I can give good answers. Ojashvi, is it a question or a comment? Question? That means it has a question mark at the end. Yes, okay. Let us see. Can I interrupt you when it's not a question? Good.
You said that we can change. Thank you at the first place for your lecture. We can change if we see the higher things.
Yes.
We can change, transform karma or lust. But sometimes we are actually surrounded by beautiful gifts from Krishna in our lives, and we don't see them properly. But we search something higher, and we don't see actually that we already have very high things in our lives. So, but when we go to search somewhere else something,
yes.
But we actually make more offenses to what we have got in our lives. So how to transform how we experience what we already have in life? Actually, we see the higher things.
Thank you very much, Ojashvi, and congratulations. Seriously, this is the first question I heard from you after 30 years. Usually you are very inspired and then you give a comment. A massive round of applause for Ojashvi's question. Dobro.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Ojashvi has asked, let us now concentrate please on the question, a very important question. That is, we often go and look elsewhere for perfection and ignore what Krishna has given us. How can we recognize what Krishna has given to us? We need sometimes to develop a different perspective. Just like an artist who, when he is painting a picture, is becoming so close that he loses his oversight, his overview. Just like the artist, it has to step back from his piece of art, and then he will see So in the same way, we sometimes need to step back and look no. When you feel, for instance, that everything becomes so, let us say, so normal, so ordinary, and you lose your appreciation for it, you can step back and you can see, for instance, what I always do is, I was so much in ignorance, and now Prabhupada has given me a process. This process has been practiced in a line of disciplic succession since thousands of years. Great kings like Ambarish and so on, they have given up their kingdom in order to engage in the same processes which are now before me. And as I create, so to say, go a step back and develop a different vision, I can see the thing totally new again, totally new. And I discover things which I may have overlooked when I was too close. So this stepping back or changing the perspective is a very, very nice technique which best is done, for instance, before you chant Hare Krishna. I sometimes do this when I sit down to chant. I'm thinking, now I can worship Krishna through the chanting of the holy name. And then I become enthusiastic to sing and remain enthusiastic. And do you know what? I forget about time. Totally forget. It's no longer existent. The limitations of material life fall away. So that's a good way which may help you to step back, which may help you. It's a technique of stepping back, no? Looking with a new perspective. I'm sorry, I'm thinking too many other things. I have to discipline myself. Thank you. Thank you. Any other question is there? Yes, Prabhuji. What is your good name? Vrishabha. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, yesterday we were reading, this morning we were reading from a verse where Srila Prabhupada said in the comments about Dhritarashtra that one should associate with sadhus only and reject all other kinds of association. So I was just thinking, can you comment on what Srila Prabhupada means by sadhus only, and how much sadhus can we find around us?
Yes. Of this,
I don't have such a clear eyes, though.
Yes. Wonderful question. Of such a high caliber, no? This is not an injunction to not go out shopping, for instance, where you are with many people who may not be sadhus. And what it means is intimate association, where you learn should be done with sadhus. Where can you find such sadhus? This question which Vrishabha